Study smart and not hard. You've heard this several times from your teachers, from your professors, from your guidance. But you actually understand the concepts, what it takes for you to study smart and not hard. Let me explain these two terms to you using the Pareto's principle. That is the 80-20 rule. That means to say that 20% of our efforts, our time invested, our resources produces the 80% results that we so wished for. But when you study hard, you are actually doing the reverse of the principle. That is, you are using 80% of your time, 80% of your energy, 80% of your resources to just get 20% out of that time, energy, and resources that you wasted. And so when you are able to study smart, you could see that your academic grades skywards from grade D to grade A. But do you actually understand how you'll be able to employ this study smart technique to better upgrade your grades? I want to share with you some of the few things that I've learned, and that will be able to help you very much for you to study smart and not hard. And so the first one that I want to share with you is that you need to learn as a teacher. You need to learn as a teacher. When you are learning as a teacher, it is very different as compared to when you are learning just to write an examination. This is in the sense that when you are learning as a teacher, you tend to actually read the word by word, sentence by sentence, context by context, for you to be able to sieve out the salient ideas and the concept behind the text that is before you. So when you study as a teacher, you take your time, and then you are able to better assimilate, have better insight on the learning material than when you are just learning as a student, or you are learning just to prepare for an examination. The second thing that I want to share with you is that you need to explain things to yourself, and this is in accordance to the Feynman technique, that you need to explain things to yourself as simple as possible. This exercise or this activity will help you to know what you know and what you don't know. You'll be able to know the gaps in your knowledge, and you'll be able to fill them to better reinforce the knowledge in your head. What I say about learning is that learning is as important as remembering what you have learned. So it is not too much about accumulating knowledge, it is also about remembering what you have learned. So there should be a balance between these two processes. And so one of the things that actually couple learning and memory together is in testing, or when you quiz yourself. And so as a student, you need to engage the practice of self-quizzing yourself, because this will help you to better remember what you have learned, and then you'll be able to also know the gaps where you fall short, where your weakness is. Then you'll be able to fill in the gaps, you improve on your weaknesses, and then when it is due for the examination at your school, you realize that you'll be better equipped than your peers who just read the test and then wrote the examination. So this is what I wanted to share with you. And the next thing that I want to tell you is that you need to space out the learning process. Learning is in such a way that it is it's a construction process, just like a building. You lay down the foundation, and then you cast the floor. You put mortar on it or concrete, and then you follow it by blocks. Uh, but the thing is that you don't do it for a day. Not because you don't have money or the resources. Everything is provided, but you know that it is in a span of, let's say, a month or years before that building becomes a well solidified edifice that attracts attention. So that is how the learning process is. When you try to gamble everything together in one chunk, you see that when you are building and then you build everything at once, the building is not strong enough to support the added weight to it, so it tends to collapse and cause disaster. So that is how the learning process is. So if you try to chant everything in your head, just at one sitting, it will not going to help you very much. Yeah, it is just like you are studying hard, you are exuding a lot of energy, but you are producing a small effect or small result. But when you try to space out the learning process, you are able to better understand the concept. It creates what we call the spacing effect between the time that you learn and the time you revisit the material. So this spacing effect actually calls for reflection and then meditation. So when you give yourself to reflection and meditation, you're able to better understand. You gain insight into the learning material that you are trying to learn. Yes, and then you'll be able to better your grades. So this is the advantages that most students have that they don't share to you. So if you want to be a grade A student, you need to study smart, and this is how you can be able to study smart. Yes, so you need to learn as a teacher, and you need to explain things to yourself for you to know where you understand, where you don't understand, and for you to fill the gap. You need also to quiz yourself. It is better to quiz yourself to know the strength of your memory than rereading the subjects over and over and over and over again, eluding yourself that you've read the material, but because of familiarity. But the truth is that you don't even understand the idea behind the text that you are reading. You are just familiar with the context. So the next thing I said was that you need to space out the learning process so that you reinforce, you solidify, you reconsolidate the memory, because it takes time for knowledge from your short-term memory to go to your long-term memory. And so when you interleave the learning process, that thing actually occurs. And then in the book written by Barbara Oakler, A Mind for Numbers, she talks about the diffused mood and then the focused mood. And when you interleave the learning process, you get into the diffused mood, and then your creativity and ingenuity birth forth. And the next thing that I also said was that you need to allow time for reflection and meditation during that spacing effect and during that spacing time. Yeah, not that you just space it out and then your mind goes blank about the learning material, but you are actually giving yourself to reflection and meditation that increases your insight and revelation in the particular text that you are reading. So you'll be able to better and really grasp the concept than your peer that just read the text and reread the text and then just cram the text and in his or her own brain before going to write the examination. Yeah, you need to create a durable, robust memory, and then studying smart by using this technique that I've listed here is going to help you very much. Yeah, I believe.